Buddies! Hey! It's Concert Buddy. This video, I'm just popping off a quick one to do a contest entry for Miss 80's Beth. She has a Gimme 5 contest where it's very open, show whatever you want, which I really enjoy. Thought it would be a great opportunity to enter the contest, not because I want to win anything, it'd be great if I did, but it's more about the fellowship and spirit of the vinyl community. Anyway, coming up after the break, I will give you 5 things that have something kind of in common from a record collecting perspective. Let's go! Now, as I said at the jump, this is a contest entry for a channel called Miss 80's. And her real name is Beth. I hope it's okay saying that. I know I've heard her name said on other channels, so hopefully that's not too much of an issue given your government name. But I was brought to attention to this channel by the one and only Mr. Hall of Fame Brandon a while ago, and gave the channel a check. Really enjoyed what I saw. She does some really cool stuff featuring like movies, soundtracks of movies, music. I mean, it's kind of all over the place. Really cool technical aspects where she'll take a record that's spinning and actually show a scene from a movie. So they're playing a song from the soundtrack and then a scene from the movie, which I thought was kind of cool. Dreams to remember. So it's something, you know, don't see that often in the vinyl community. Anyway, she also does stuff like she has some like contests, obviously, but also I guess like kind of trivia nights kind of thing. I did one of those before, and it's talking about just random questions, and I don't even think there's a prize. It's just more for bragging rights kind of thing. So that was fun. Anyway, fun channel. I'll leave a link below. Highly recommend you give it a check.
It's on.
But this contest sounded really dope, so I just figured let's throw it together. Anyway, contest, the spirit is called Gimme 5. Gimme 5 of anything, as long as it had some kind of continuity. So one thing I don't show on my channel a lot is 45s. It's not really my jam. I'm usually like an LP, 12-inch kind of guy. But I actually stumbled across some old 45s recently. It's kind of like one of my honey hole places I go to in town. And I saw, I think it was maybe Record Safari, Alex Rodriguez, his shop on Instagram had some Cheech and Chong 45s. And I was like, oh man, that'd be really cool to go if my honey hole had them. And they did, and if you follow me on Instagram, which you totally should, you would have saw I featured them on one of my photos. But anyway, as I was kind of putting my thinking goggles or my thinking cap on for this contest, I figured, yeah, let me show some 45s, because I really don't play in that lane too much, but I do have some 45s that are at least cool to me. So let me show you those now.
Can you do that?
All right, so as a quick recapper, here are those Cheech and Chong 45s I was talking about. This is Earache My Eye from the Up in Smoke movie. Cheech wearing this wonderful tutu and a character of his own creation called Alice Bowie. Actually a pretty good song. If you've seen some of my videos before, I did a recent video where I found a record I tracked down a record where Tommy Chong was in a band, Bobby Taylor and the Vancouvers, I think it was called. Anyway, so he has he's actually a musician. He has musical chops. Anyway, like I said, I saw that on Alex Rodriguez Record Safari Instagram. I was like, oh yeah, that'd be fun to track down. And then they had some other ones. Anytime you can find 45s with the picture sleeves, like I'm a sucker for that completist kind of mentality. And this is a fun little comedy skit song that they did about basketball, and obviously I'm a hoop head, so it spoke to me. Anyway, so this was kind of like where the motivation came from in the contest. But put those there. Let's see, what order should I do here? How about, the first one I'll do is, I got these last year, and I haven't even opened them because I actually have the official soundtrack for The Shining. If you know anything about The Shining, Stephen King novel, Jack Nicholson movie, I'll spare you all that kind of stuff. But the soundtrack is not very easy to track down itself, and I found one a couple years ago for a solid price. It's since I think doubled or tripled or something like that. But it's really a haunting, like spooky wooky soundtrack. Like the music's very like just it'll make you pee your pants. if you're not careful. Kind of like the movie, right? But I think it was Death Waltz, which is a reissue label, just put out these 45s, a red one and a yellow one. And again, Captain Completist felt like, let me pick these up. I think they were like 10 or 15 bucks. So I got these. Obviously, I haven't even opened them yet, but I thought they were just really cool and spoke to the movie, and also spoke to, you know, like the fact that the original soundtrack is kind of hard to track down. So I was like, hey, why not? So here's the first one I'm going to show. All right, so the next one I'm going to show, this next 45, is from Mumford & Sons, and they worked with an African artist named Baba Mal. I probably butchered that. But this was a record store release. This is There Will Be Time. The reason I'm showing it is because, not because I like Mumford & Sons, not because it's one of my favorite songs or anything like that, but a couple years ago, for Record Store Day, they released this in one of my local shops. Mumford & Sons was actually performing in St. Louis that evening. Worked it out where Mumford was going to come in and do an in-store, play a couple songs. Cool as hell. So I actually, when they announced this, I think a couple weeks prior, they said you had to buy a copy of the 45 to be able to go to the in-store. No problem. So I literally, I think I was at work as a Thursday or Friday, and I saw the announcement wherever I saw it. I literally, fortunately, timing was good. I told my boss I'll be right back. Ran down, bought the 45, and then secured my place in line. I think I was in like the second group they let into the store that day. Fantastic. I mean, literally, we were super close.
The dark, one last time. Just one last time.
Played a couple songs from the Wilder Mind album. Really cool. And then I think we even had tickets that evening to go see him. So a really fun day, a really fun memory. To be frank, I don't even think I've even opened this. As you could see, it was just more of a barrier to entry to be able to do the live in-store. But man, this is so fun. It's like one of the top 10 like fun part of my record collecting stories, journey, what have you, that I'll always like treasure, was being able to be part of that in-store and see Mumford & Sons like literally right there. All right, so the next one I'm going to show here is next 45. This is a collaboration of a song by U2 and Green Day called The Saints Are Coming. I believe it was a cover song. But I remember it was right after, I believe, Hurricane Katrina and all the issues with like the Superdome in Louisiana. And they released this song together to kind of raise money for the Katrina Relief Fund. And then, if I'm not mistaken, they even, at least Green Day, I'd have to go back and think. I know when the NFL season opened up and they reopened the Superdome where the Saints play, they actually played this song, maybe during halftime, memory serves. I think this is like 2000, holy smokes, 2006, I want to say. Anyway, it really just like get you into junk, kind of like pump up rock song. Really enjoyed it. I didn't think they would release this as a feature on either a Green Day album or a U2 album, but they did release this 45 with, hopefully, I'm hoping that some of the proceeds went to the Katrina Relief Fund. My assumption is yes. I don't even think this is on colored vinyl. Let's look now, it's just black wax. But anyway, really fun track, really great song, and happy to have it in my collection. So technically, I think this is probably number 5 if you consider those Cheech and Chong 45s I let off with, but I'm going to just lump 5 and pseudo 6 here together because they're very similar. The first one I'm going to show is a Mother Love Bone. So this was Pearl Jam before Pearl Jam. This is when they were just starting out. They were called Mother Love Bone, pretty much the full band, except they had a singer named Andy Wood, who unfortunately passed away from drug overdose, and really good singer. They do have like their feature release. I think that's in my shelf somewhere. I'll show it probably in another video at some time. But after he passed, then they were, I guess, looking for a new singer. Eddie Vedder, I think, was in San Diego at the time. Knew some people. It's always who you know. Anyway, long story short, auditions, joins the band, and Pearl Jam, and the rest is music history. So this was, I think, a Record Store Day, Black Friday release a couple years ago with a couple of songs that they had kind of in the tank from those sessions. It's really nice. I think it says, "We miss you, Andy," here, so I thought it was kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the same dudes. There's Mike McCready, Jeff Ahmed, etc. But connected to that is this is probably my most valuable 45. I paid a nice little chunk of change for it. This is Eddie singing a song they wrote obviously Eddie has connections to Chicago. I think he grew up part of his childhood there, and big Cubs fan, Cardinals fan. Like, he just kind of worked that stuff out, blue, red, all that stuff. But when I saw Pearl Jam at Wrigley the first time, they played 2013, which I think they consider, or not the band, but I guess overall it's considered a top 10 Pearl Jam show of all time. Not because of the music played necessarily. I guess they played some really deep cuts, but there was like a thunderstorm that interrupted the show, and they wouldn't let us leave, so we were literally at Wrigley Field for like 8 hours. They extended curfew to let them finish the set into, I think it was maybe 1 o'clock in the evening, or in the morning, I should say. Fortunately, I had a really good friend who lived in Wrigleyville we stayed with, and she came to the show with us, blah, blah, blah. But with Eddie's connection to Chicago, they wrote this song before the Cubs won the World Series in 16, and it was kind of like an anthem of hope. Someday we'll go all the way, because the Cubs are kind of the laughable losers. Chicago loves them, all that kind of stuff. And obviously, now that the Cubs won the World Series, it's kind of a moot point. But Third Man Records, they did a co-op or a joint project, joint release, where if you went to like one of the Cubs games, I'm pretty sure they were playing like the Pirates or some really crappy team. They released this, and everyone, not everyone, but like first 30,000 in attendance got this 45. That's pretty cool, red and blue wax. So obviously enjoy Pearl Jam immensely, and don't live in Chicago, and these things were going for like hundreds of dollars, hundreds, like plural, for some time there. So the only way I could track one down was through eBay. I had to let it breathe, let the price kind of settle at a comfortable point, and it did. And so I was able to buy one of these on eBay. So anyway, there are my Gimme 5 plus 45s for this contest. Again, Beth, really enjoy your channel. Please check out the channel link below for Miss 80's. Give it a try. She does a lot of very unique stuff to the VC, and I highly encourage you put some eyeballs on it, support the channel, and all that good stuff. But buddies, that's all I got for this video. Thank you for taking your time to watch this video. Support Beth's channel, Miss 80's, all that good stuff. And until we meet again, my friends and buddies, and you can spin 45s like this if you get the chance. Just spin it. I'll see you next time.
Well, well, well. How the turntables...
Well, we out of time.